up, everyone? Kawaii Kuge here to react to the season 2 finale of Rising of the Shield Hero. Last episode we left off, it was pretty much mainly all about our heroes infiltrating Kyo's lair, defeating his enemies, and pretty much killing Kyo himself. That's right, Kyo finally died in the last episode, although I will say his death I still feel like was a bit underwhelming, considering the fact that I just feel like he didn't suffer enough for the amount, for just how obnoxious and annoying he was, how obnoxious and annoying the series made him out to be. I really wanted him to suffer, but he didn't really do that. Yeah, overall his death was just very underwhelming. Also considering the fact that the way he died, a fucking like giant magical blast using Naofumi's shield and then the mirror vassal weapon. So yeah, I don't know. I really did feel like his death could have been better. But at the end of the day, I am glad that he's dead and we don't have to suffer through him anymore. At least I hope that's not the case. And of course, at the end of the episode, Naofumi and the others return back to their original world. And we also said goodbye to Lark, Teresa, Glass, and Kizuna. Which I must say, Kizuna's goodbye, I still feel like it was just very... it was probably my favorite thing about the last episode. It did, I admit, Kizuna's goodbye really did kind of hit me in the feels a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh yeah, in the last episode, they really acted like it was like the final episode, even though we still get this one. Like there's... Episode 12 act like it was act like it was the last episode, even though there was one episode left. So yeah, this is the actual conclusion of Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2. So yeah, let's see how this all ends. Without further ado, let's get... Here we go, guys! The final episode of Season 2 of Rising of the Shield Hero. Where are they going? Ooh. Mountains. Philo remembers that she can't fly. Ouch. Nah. That was pretty fun. Okay. Do we really need a flashback to this scene? I guess so. I mean, we already know how it's gonna end. Polka dots. Hmm. Maybe they aren't just close. Maybe they actually do have. Maybe they have different stats. Ooh. Very nice. Oh! Oh! Well, it's kind of what we've all been. Well, I mean, not all, but a lot of people have been thinking, and a lot of people have been joking about. But still, wow! I still didn't expect it to be actually like mentioned. Also, props to the subbers for not being one of those people that translate lolicon into pedophile. They translated lolicon as lolicon. I mean, you're a slave, so not. Whoa. Whoa. Damn. Has Rishi always been that big? I mean, they're not the biggest I've seen, but they're pretty sizable. Healthy eroticism? What does that even mean? Yeah, because she's from here. Oh, you're putting him on the spot again. Of course. This man. Just when I thought there was no other way you could, like, misinterpret that. Oh wait, is this back to, like... So this is technically, like, present time. So I guess we're seeing what they're up to, like after the last episode, after now Fumi and Raftalia went back to their world. This is what it was like when Kizuna first arrived here. Before she met Naofumi. I thought it was important. Holy, wait. Is that perspective or... I guess that's perspective. Like, damn, that fish is enormous. Oh. 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 What is that? Oh my god, how is that? What the fuck? Jesus. Truly a girl of many talents. Well, I guess that's some... So there's an end, an invisible wall blocking you from escaping. So in other words, not very infinite in an infinite labyrinth. Is that a ball? Is this Castaway? Is that a Castaway reference? Oh. Poor girl. Oh man, Castaway 2 is looking great. Oh, and that's when it happened. I don't know. I mean, on one hand, I mean, we did get to see like a little bit of like, how do I say this? On one hand, we do get to see a little bit of like how tragic her situation was, like when she was in the Infinite Labyrinth all alone, like before she met Naofumi. But on the other hand, it's like it looked like she was doing pretty fine, like literally like moments before she saw like Naofumi came into the Infinite Labyrinth. Like you saw her, like she was like walking and humming and all that. That doesn't seem like, that doesn't look like someone who was actually like in peril. Like that doesn't look like someone who was actually suffering, or that that doesn't look like someone who was desperate, like desperately hoping to get out of the infinite labyrinth. You know what I'm saying? Basically, what I'm trying to say is, I don't think Kizuna suffered enough to return to infinite labyrinth. I mean, yeah, we did get to see some glimpse of how tragic it was. I mean, we literally just saw, we saw Kizuna, like, you know, a few moments ago, a couple minutes ago. She was contemplating suicide. And, you know, I get that. I know. I mean, I get that, but it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, she was at a point where she was talking like her only friend was like an inanimate object. I get that, but I don't know. It's like we still don't get a real sense of peril. We still don't get a real sense of like, like Kizuna is actually in hell right now. In my opinion, they should have done to her what the Grisaia series did to Amane. Like, give her like an actual all hope is lost. You know, you gotta do what you can to survive. You're running out of resources. You gotta start eating, you know, fucking like dogs or something in order to survive. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like on the brink of starvation. Something like that. What? That doesn't seem like a very sensical comparison. Because the ball to Kizuna, I mean, Kizuna was talking to an inanimate object because she was literally like, that was the only, okay, well, I mean, she was talking to an inanimate object because that's the only semblance of like, that's the only companion she had since she was all alone in like the infinite labyrinth. Like, she was desperate for companionship. And while that could be applied to Yamogi and Kyo's relationship, Kyo, on the other hand, he's an actual human being, and he's like somebody who like she thought was a friend, but it ends up turning into an evil like fucking douchebag. I wouldn't compare that to like an inanimate object like a ball. Really? Did you have any fun memories with Kyo? Someone like Kyo? Is it even possible to have fond memories with Kyo? That does happen to people who wear glasses. See, that's where it happened. That's where it all happened. That's how Kyo turned into a villain. He was gaslighted and embarrassed for the last time. He said, alright, you know what? Fuck it. I'm done with this life. I'm gonna go commit genocide. I'm gonna start a wave. I'm gonna use my lab to create zombie chimeras. Yep. We have Yomogi to blame for Kyo's turn to villainy. I blame you, Yomogi. You started all this. You're the reason Kyo turned into an evil douchebag. You just had to gaslight him. You just had to hide the truth from him. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Poor Philo. But it's for the safety of everyone else. It's either you make Philo sad or everyone dies. That is way too much detail on the lips. Good lord. Well, now we know where all the studio's budget went to. Raftalia's lips in that in that one scene, in that one shot. Jesus Christ. Is this episode really just like a recap episode with extra steps? God, because that's what it feels like so far. No, you're too young! Oh no. Holy shit. How would you know what that's like, Aust? So you're telling me a spirit tortoise. So you're telling me you're telling me you've had intercourse before. Is that what you're saying? Spirit tortoise? The spirit tortoise has had sex. Oh. You're telling me a giant ass tortoise has done the deed before. With whom? How? Did you do it in your human form or your spirit tortoise form? Is there like a male spirit tortoise out there somewhere that you did it with? Oh. That's what they were doing this whole time. Okay, so that's the... Oh my gosh. Okay, I get it. Well, that's nearing the end of the episode. Oh. Ah. Oh, spirit. Bidding you farewell one last time. Flowers offered in recollection. Was that like mountain thing? Was that like part of the spirit tortoise? Was that part of the spirit tortoise shell? I think so, right? Okay, I think... Do we have more after this? Okay, no, we don't. Rise of Chilios here and here. However, Naofumi and Alex are still on their long and arduous journey. Yep, because we got season 3. That's gonna be coming. Who knows? But yeah, well, that was episode 13 of Rise of the Shield Hero Season 2. Alright, well, as usual, I'm going to start off with just my thoughts on this episode, and then I'm going to move on to what my thoughts on Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 as a whole. So overall, my thoughts on this episode, I honestly don't understand what the purpose of this episode was. Honestly, they probably should have just stopped in episode 12. Because episode 12, that was already a perfect way to... Pretty much a perfect way to end the series. I don't understand why this episode was necessary. I mean, yeah, it was nice to see, well, first of all, it was nice to see, like, how exactly Kizuna was like back when she was trapped in the Infinite Labyrinth on her own. Like, what her life was like when she was trapped in the Infinite Labyrinth and before she met Naofumi. That was interesting to see, I guess. And I guess it was nice for Naofumi and the gang to pay their respects to Ost before they continue their journey or whatever. But everything else, I felt like it was wholly unnecessary because, like, why do we need to see the clothing shop scene again? Like, why do we need to see, like, Kizuna and Raphtalia and Rishia picking out clothes in the clothing shop? We already know what outfit they're gonna pick. Why do we need to see that? Also, why do we need to see that campfire scene with Ulst and the other girls? Like, why is that necessary? Okay, I guess it's because, like, I guess it's their way of saying goodbye to those characters. But still, I mean, honestly, I feel like this should have been an OVA. This should have been like its own separate OVA or whatever, like released separately from this episode. Or like from this season. Because like I said, most of it was just not necessary at all. Like, we could have... Like, we could have just stopped watching at episode 12 and we wouldn't have missed a thing. I mean, Honestly, I feel like the most important thing about this episode was just like that scene with Kizuna and the Infinite Labyrinth. I mean, yeah, I guess it is. I mean, I guess it is nice for those who are curious about that thing, who are curious about that, who are curious as to what Kizuna's life was like before she met Naofumi. I mean, I understand that scene does serve a purpose. But is it really that necessary though? Because we already kind of got an idea of what her life was like when she was first introduced. I mean, yeah, you're stuck in like this this infinite like world where there's no end, there's no way you can get out. I mean, that would be mentally and physically, that would take a toll on someone mentally and physically, like anybody. That would take a toll on anybody mentally and physically. I mean, do we really need to know? Do we really need episode 13 just for that purpose? Like, I mean, it's already pretty obvious, like, she did suffer to an extent before she met Naofumi. So, I don't know. Overall, I just feel like episode 13 was completely unnecessary. I probably should have just stopped watching halfway through, but then I figured, yeah, I might as well just continue watching anyways. I mean, I did react to the first 12 episodes. I might as well just finish the series off, reaction-wise. So yeah, overall, episode 13, Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2, As for what I think about Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 as a whole, this is probably my least favorite show of spring 2022. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2. It really just, yeah, nowhere near as good as Season 1. Season 2 is really where this series just took a huge nosedive, didn't it? I mean, okay, let's start off with the things I did like about Season 2. I did like, we did get to see more Raphtalia, Naofumi, and Philo and all of that. It did kind of suck. We didn't really see any of Melty, but oh, what can you do? I mean, it's not like Melty was my favorite character or anything like that, but I mean, I did like Chia's performance of her. And I kind of wish we did get to see more of her. What else? Oh yeah, the action was pretty good. I mean, yeah, the animation was just not there in most cases, but the action, it was serviceable. And yeah, it was nice to see Naofumi just, kicking ass using the Wrath Shield and all that. I mean, that was nice to see. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I liked about Season 2. Everything else was just, oh my gosh, it was boring. It was slow. It was a slog. I don't understand what it is that just makes this show feel like it just drags. I mean, I get it. Isekai shows, shows like these, you need the world building, you need the lore. I mean, not everything you can't feel everything with like action or intense sequences. I get that, but it's like you still have to find that balance somehow. And I feel like Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2, it just doesn't have that balance. It just doesn't have that balance between world building and downtime and action. And even with the action, I feel like it just didn't have the same impact that it did with Season 1 and a lot of other shows, a lot of other action isekai shows. So, yeah. Oh, also I forgot to mention, was another thing I liked about Season 2. The introduction of Ulst. While character-wise she was kind of forgettable, I will admit, she was pretty hot, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, probably one of the best things about Rise of Shield Season 2 is Aust, and that's because she's hot. But yeah, like I said, aside from Aust being hot, she was forgettable. In fact, that's what you can probably say with a lot of the other characters in Season 2. They were pretty forgettable. I mean, yeah, they were likable, but I feel like they were still, I mean, they were likable, but that's pretty much the extent of their character. For a lot of these characters. And then also, gotta talk about the villain, Kyo. Another one of the gripes I had with Season 2. Like I said, I just don't understand why they can't make Kyo like a normal villain. Like, I don't understand that why they had to make him so over the top, so irritating, like as irritating and annoying and obnoxious as possible. I said this before, and I'll say it again. Multi/bitch was enough. We don't need more annoying villains in Rising of the Shield Hero. I really hope they fix that coming Season 3. I really hope the villain, the main antagonist for Season 3 is nowhere near as annoying or bad as Multi or Kyo. Like, pretty much every time this guy speaks, I just, oh my god, I get so fucking annoyed. I just want to, like, man, I just want to plug my ears, man. I just want him to die as soon as possible. Yeah, every time he just opens his mouth, I just want this man to die. That's pretty much how it was with me and him. Like, I get it. Like, sometimes shows just making like a villain annoying as possible just so viewers can feel satisfied when they eventually die. I mean, it's not a tactic that we haven't seen before, but still, it's not a good tactic in general. That doesn't mean like all shows should implement that tactic. I mean, there is such a thing as making a likable villain. There is such a thing as making a villain where you can understand the motivations and you can understand why they do the things they do, and they're not over the top. There's such thing as likable villains. There's such thing as understandable villains that aren't over the top. I don't understand why they can't apply that same philosophy to Kyo or any of the characters in Rising of the Shield Hero. Ah, Jesus Christ. Hell, honestly, to an extent, I feel like Multi is at least a slightly better villain than Kyo. Because at least with Multi, I mean, she wasn't a cartoon villain. Like, she was like some stuck-up bitch that literally accused Naofumi of like sexual assault. That's not something that that's actually not something we've seen before, like, or all too often. Like, we don't see like female villains like accusing the main villain of sexual assault and then seeing them get their comeuppance. So honestly, Multi, while I do hate her guts, Multi was refreshing in that regard. Kyo, on the other hand, he was just a whole ass cartoon villain. There was nothing, reasonable about him. There was nothing likable about him. There was nothing refreshing about him. We've seen villains like him many times before. He is just not a good character in general. And I really hope we don't get anybody like him in Rising of the Shield Hero Season 3. But yeah, other than that, Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2, there was I'd say, in my opinion at least, the cons far outweigh the pros. And honestly, because of this, I don't have high hopes for Season 3, but I am open for Rising of the Shield Hero Season 3 to prove me wrong. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter, support my Patreon, links in the description down below, and I will see you guys next time.